Hello, my fellow Cowboys fans, and welcome to another edition of Cowboys Imperial Report. This week, the Dallas Cowboys go up into Maryland at FedEx Field and will take on their divisional rivals, the Washington Redskins. Now, the Dallas Cowboys already have home field advantage throughout the playoffs locked up, while the Redskins obviously need a win in order to secure their sixth seed in the NFC playoffs. So the question is, will the Dallas Cowboys play their starters, or will they rest guys and chance losing the game to the Washington Redskins? On today's show, we will talk with none other than Six Rings from the Dallas Cowboys blog, and we'll discuss some of these topics. Now, here's how I feel about Cowboys versus Redskins. It's going to be a heck of a game no matter what, because the Redskins, everybody, but the Redskins mostly, they bring their best to defeat the Cowboys. And this is especially true when you have a guy like Joe Gibbs. He remembers the old days in the early 80s and throughout that decade when the Cowboys rivalry was very heated. Certainly not to the extent that it was in the 70s with George Allen, but still Gibbs contributed to the Cowboys-Redskins rivalry. So he's going to get his guys up on Sunday to play against the Cowboys and give them their third loss of the season. But I really don't see the Washington Redskins defeating the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't see it, because the Cowboys have Tony Romo, and Romo can get the ball to anybody. While it is great to have Terrell Owens and Terry Glenn and those guys catching balls from Romo, Romo can get the ball to Witten, and Patrick Creighton and Sam Hurd and Miles Austin, they're not too shabby. They'll catch balls, and they'll continue the wide receiver production will not skip a beat. In our defense in the last two games, our defense held the Eagles to 10 points, and they held the Panthers to 13 points. If our defense can hold the Washington Redskins to below 20 points, the Cowboys will win the game, because old Romo ain't going to have a broken thumb or a bruised thumb, whatever and Jessica Simpson won't be in the stands. There we go. That was the reason. Well, we're going to talk to Six Rings here on Cowboys Imperial Report. Hi, Veer, and welcome to Cowboys Imperial Report. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Len. Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this for some time now.
You want me to call you Six Rings or Veer? Which one?
Well, I've gotten quite used to Veer, so I'll answer to pretty much anything.
Okay. All right. Now, some of the buzz this week has been, should you sit the guys or should you start them? What would you say if you were Coach Six Rings?
Very good question. Interesting enough. Well, first of all, I would definitely sit out any players that were slightly dinged up. Right off the top of my head, that would be Andre Garrard, Colombo, Newman, Watkins, Ratliff, and obviously Terrell. But you have to be careful with the 53-man roster. Now, what I'd like to see is some significant time to Proctor, McQuiston, Nate Jones. We'll probably see a lot of Davis, Tank Johnson, and I'm most importantly going to be looking for our number 54, Bobby Carpenter. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. I'd also like to see Stanback not only get some action at wide receiver, but possibly as a punt returner.
That'd be
nice.
nice.
We've promised that all year. I would play Romo for the first half and Brad Johnson in the second half. He's seen very limited action except for kneeling down. I have a little twisted running back I'd like to throw at you. I'd like to see Julius Jones give us at least 20 carries. This is most likely going to be his last regular season game with the Cowboys, so give him one more shot.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Lastly, I would reduce the playing time of Witten and give some additional plays to Castano and Curtis.
All right. Sounds good. Now, Terry Glenn, if he plays, what role would you give him?
Probably the slot receiver, but just to step back a minute, I know all year I've not been expecting him to play, but it does sound like he's going to be there. So I would probably start him in the slot as a third, and definitely just keep Hurd and Austin on the outside and then kind of mix it up, like as I mentioned previously, with Stanback in there.
Okay. T.O. is known as a quick healer. Do you believe he will be healed by the time the Dallas Cowboys play the divisional?
Well, healed is the tricky question. I don't think he's going to be 100%, but he certainly isn't going to miss this chance, and he will be back. So even a 70%, at least 70% he'll be. And as long as we have Terry Glenn there, I think that we could deal with the 70% TO.
I agree. Okay, what will it take for a Cowboys win?
Well, we're going to win. I have all the faith, even though we're almost 10-point underdogs, at least last I looked. But the one thing that worries me the most is not to let them get out to a big lead early. Let's not give Wade any reason to start putting down our starters more than we should. And as long as we keep it close through the first half, I think it's going to be game on through the second half. And I like to see that stadium nervous. Second of all, I've liked our pass pressure the last few games. We got 5 sacks last week. I'd like to see some more mixing it up and keep the pressure on Collins, because remember, he hadn't started a game in 10 years, and there's a reason for that. And always one of my biggest pet peeves, my biggest keys to victory is to get them off the field on third down.
No kidding.
We've been better at that. We gave up a big one last week, but if we can get them off the field on third down, that means we control time of possession.
Yeah, with my dad, when we're watching the game, 3rd and 19 is scarier than 3rd and inches.
It has been, like I said, and I'd like to see a lot of their punter.
Yes.
I'm always happy seeing the other team's punter.
Yes. Would you like to see the Redskins in the playoffs? Now, the reason why I pose this is...
Actually, no. But the reason is not because I fear them. I just want to go back to the old days and knock them out. You know, this rivalry has been a bit dormant as of late, and I think this might add a little spark if we can knock them out of the playoffs. Unfortunately, even if we win, we'd still need either a Minnesota or a New Orleans victory to officially have them out. But it would be a nice start.
Yeah. Now, you lived up there in the heart of darkness. You lived with these rabid Redskins fans. Can you tell us what Dallas week was like?
I actually missed Dallas week. I lived there 25 years and had the pleasure of growing up there during the 70s. And being a Cowboys fan, well, let's just say I had my share of challenges.
Yeah.
But basically what it is a complete week's worth, starting the Monday after the previous game, of nothing but official trash talking. Every media outlet would have it. Now, back in the 70s, obviously, basically had newspaper and television. But they would even start off their local news broadcast with a Cowboys-Redskins story. Now, one thing that Cowboy fans probably don't know much about Redskin Week is that no matter who won, Redskin Week would always last a week after that because the other person would do complete trash talking no matter who won. So that was actually more fun than the week prior. But I do want to give shout-out to Skid fans because I've never been around any more passionate fans than they are. They're annoying as all heck, but they are very passionate. They love their Redskins.
Yes, they sure do. Well, Six Rings, it's been nice having you here on Cowboys Imperial Report, and hopefully the Cowboys will win and will be 14-2 the first time in franchise history.
Agreed. Well, it's been a pleasure for me, Emperor, and keep up all the great work.
Thank you, Six Rings. The Emperor calls 24-17 Cowboys over the Redskins. And with that said, the Cowboys will be 14-2 first time in franchise history. And then they will conclude the season with a Lombardi trophy. What a perfect way to punctuate this magnificent season. I'll see you Sunday night, my fellow Cowboys fans.